Hello everybody, this is Sling Mustachio from the future. I already made this sling in this tutorial and you're going to see it here in just a couple of seconds, but I just wanted to show you, before you get started in this, keep in mind, you got to keep your weaves nice and tight. So I did this sling, I took it out and tested it. It works really great. This cracker is really loud because of all the extra weight here, but if you don't keep your weaves nice and tight, it's going to slide away from your finger loop. You're going to end up with a huge bunch of gaps like that, and the center of your pouch is going to migrate. So as you go along following this tutorial, make sure you get those weaves really tightly stacked in there. It's going to make it really nice and stiff, but make sure that you get that super tight so you don't end up with an issue like that. Anyway, just wanted to warn you ahead of time. Hope you enjoy the video. This one here, I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to make a proper version. It's not going to be all boogered up for the giveaway out of the extra piece that I have here, but enjoy the tutorial, guys. Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a tutorial on how to make a split pouch woven paracord sling out of one single continuous piece of paracord. And as an added bonus, this is to do it on an extreme budget. This particular chunk of paracord here, I got at our local Dollar Tree dollar store for $1. And as you can see right here, there's 25 feet of what basically amounts to 550 paracord. So I'm going to show you how to build a split pouch sling with just 25 feet, $1 worth of paracord that you can get at the dollar store. So I've already taken this other one. I bought two of these. This one I already pulled out of the package. First thing you're going to want to do is find the middle. Fold it in half and find where the middle is at. We're going to go ahead and start with that. I'm going to grab my tape measure here. Now we want to make a 6-inch pouch. And we're going to need just a little bit of extra room for some knots on either end of the pouch. So measure out 7 inches. And we're going to be taking these and doubling them back again. Got all this extra paracord over here. Move this around so you can see. So right now what we've got is my 2 extra strands are over here on the right hand side. Now we need one of them to be coming back to the left. So let's just take the one on the top and come back over one last time. Now, as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cords. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to need to join the ends of our pouch together. So what we're going to do is take one side, get our loops pretty even, and we're going to be tying a knot on this. Basically, a figure-8 knot. So let me show that again. Around the back, over the front, around the back, and out through the top loop that we made here with this knot. And we're going to gently want to try to cinch that guy down just a little bit, but make sure you leave these 2 loops hanging out of the top. This is important. This is going to help us keep the pouch defined. Slide our knot down just a little bit like that. Take the loose end and go through there. so that now, if that knot tries to slide off, it's going to capture it. It won't fall out now. And we don't want to pull it too tight because we do need to pass another piece of paracord through there later. So now we're going to take that one we just did, we're going to pull that, get it out of the way, set that end aside, and we're going to do the other side the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll pause it, and we'll see you back at the other end. Okay, so here we are. We've done the same thing on the other side. Done a figure 8 knot around these guys. I'm going to pull that tight. Pull it down and pass it through. And there we go. So now we've got, like I said, 5 strands here in the middle. We're going to want to try to untangle these guys. And it's going to be a little bit chaotic until we get this woven up, but that's okay. So because this 5 strands doesn't break up into an even amount, we're going to have 2 of them grouped together. So we're going to have 2 strands over here. These are going to make up our left side of our pouch. The right side we're going to have set up like this. So let's take this upper strand here, over the outside one, under the first 2. Then over those 2, and under the one on the right. And just keep doing that, work your way down. And as you go, make sure you're bunching these up. And because I was helping somebody else with a tutorial, live tutorial in video chat, just to kind of give you an idea of how wide this should be looking. My weave right now is a little bit wider than half of an inch. So if it's getting too wide, you're probably going a little too loose. It's not really super critical, but try to keep it pretty narrow, like 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Just work your way down that first side, and I'll see you when we start the second side. Okay, so we're getting close to the end here, and I just want to show you as we're going. You get close to the end down here, and it starts getting hard to kind of pass this guy through like that. So take the end of your paracord. I'm just going to keep on going until we get this guy as many weaves as we can fit in there reasonably. We don't want this to be too tight or it'll get super stiff, and we don't want that. We want to be able to later have the option, if you want to, of putting a cross piece in the middle. So what we're going to do is gonna just keep on going here. As you can see, pull this guy out straight. It's not a whole lot. There is a little bit of extra looseness there. I think I'm going to put a couple more weaves in there, because I want to be able to tighten that up just a little bit more. Maybe 1 or 2 more weaves. Okay, so there we go. Just 2 more weaves there. You can see that's one side of the pouch is already done. The actual length of the pouch right now is just a little bit longer than 6 inches, which should be great for throwing tennis balls and stuff. So, remember how I said we want to still be able to pass a piece of paracord through the top of that loop? That's what we're doing here. We're going to pass this guy up through the top of our pouch. Oops, that guy passed in there. Like that. that out of the way. Now we're going to tie just an overhand knot up here. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm wrong the way that I'm doing that. I'm going to go back through here. Oh my goodness. Like this. And then do our overhand knot that way. That way this guy locks in on the top of our pouch, like this. So, first side's done. Do the second thing for the same side. I'll see when we get finished with that. Okay, so here we go. I got down to the end of this pouch. I had to kind of pull on that loop to get it, because I had pulled tight when I was working on the other side. So I had to pull a little bit of slack out of this loop here. So now we find the end of our cord again. I'll show this process again because I was kind of fumbling through it the first time. You pass your cord through your loop once, like that. Now let's go back through it again from the same side. It's going to be a little tricky because things are a little bit tight right now. There we go. So we went through it once, came back around, through it again. Now, under the first one. And as you can see, what it's doing is we're going through that loop that we made. Pull it down tight. Do the same on the other side. Pull that down tight. And there we go. The pouch is done, and that is a 6-inch pouch. The nice thing about this design is that you can set your cord length after the fact. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's say we want this guy to be 24 inches. That's how I normally make my slings. So fold the pouch in half. Find the end of the sling here at the end of the tape measure. We're going to come out to the 24-inch mark and fold it in half. Now on this one, we're going to do it a little bit differently. Last time I did 2 finger loops. This time I'm going to do 1 finger loop sized big enough for 2 fingers. So we take that fold in half, come around, do an overhand knot. This is called an overhand on a bight, B-I-G-H-T. Because that loop is called a bight. Now, we got our fingers in there, so let's move that knot down until our fingers can just kind of barely fit in there like that. Keep working it until you get it just right. There we go. Pull that down. Make sure that we're still at our 24-inch mark. I came up just a little bit short, so I'm going to make that cord just a little longer. Here's the pouch side. I'm going to go just a little bit longer and do it again. Slide the knot down. Check it again. And there we go. That's at 24 inches. Now we're going to do the same thing. Not the same thing. We're going to do the retention knot side. I got to kind of fix some stuff up here. I'll be right back. So maybe the more keen-eyed of you might have seen that I had some extra loopage up here. It was because I didn't have this cord on the end opposite the finger loop. Didn't have all that stuff worked out. So all I'm doing is just making sure that I get all that slack taken out. And there we go. Now it looks like it's supposed to. So just like in the previous videos, when you're setting the length of your sling, get your fingers in there, get your fist where you're going to have it, fold your pouch in half, like that, pull it tight, and get it to where it's balanced. Get your hand nice and comfortable. Okay. Now again, I personally like just a figure-8 knot for my knots, because I like to put a knot on mine, and I like it to be small. It's just a matter of preference. Figure-8 knot, pull it down slightly, not too tight. Check and see if it's where it needs to be. Hey, got it on the first try. So there we go. We're going to go ahead and cinch that guy down. I'm going to trim off the extra, and I'll be back here in a minute. Okay, so I cut off the excess on the finger loop, melted that down, like that. Trimmed off this time. I want about 4 fingers. One a little bit longer of a tassel. And again, give it some help. Kind of roll it between your fingers. And just work that all the way down until you get that guy all the way frizzed out like that. Now my thought is that with this big heavy pouch on here and this tiny little string, it ought to make a pretty nice little crack at the end. Well, we'll have to take it out and test it to know for sure. But anyway, go ahead and fluff that guy out. Now this sling here used up about 17 feet of paracord. I had about 8 feet left over. It's pretty nuts. I mean, pretty simple. It only took me, I'd say about a half hour to make. This is a really awesome sling, guys. So that's functional, but I'm going to be adding something in here. Kind of a take on Practical Paracord's smiling sling design, but it's going to be a little different. His ends up with an X in the middle. I would rather have 2 X's kind of off to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 pieces of paracord off of the extra that I had from this sling. Let's cut them, let's give ourselves a little extra. We'll say 8 inches. So let's cut that and get those guys ready to go. Okay, so here we go. Got our 2 8-inch strands. Look at your pouch. It's about 6 inches, right? Shorten everything up, kind of get us centered a little bit in the camera. So come over, let's say about 1.5 inches. Let's go to the 4.5 inch mark. And let's pull a little gap in between our weave here. Come from the back side, out through the front. Let's tie just a really simple overhand knot on the back side, like this. Okay, pull that down tight. Pull it up here, but don't pull it through. Make sure you keep the stuff squished down so it doesn't want to pull through. Now, we're going to come to the 3-inch mark, halfway. And go through the front to the back. Come 1 over and come back to the front again, like that. Then go about to the 1.5 inch mark and go back through. We're going to leave that one like that for now. And let's do the same with the second one going the other direction from here to here to here. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll see you at the other end. Okay, so there we have it. Got my 2 overhand knots over here. I've got 2 loose ends over here. I've split these guys and kind of pulled the slack out to try to get them as close to the same amount of tension on each one as I can. And when they're pulled apart, there's only about an inch of a gap there. And this should be great for throwing quite a wide array of rocks and balls and such. So now that we got our length set, go ahead and tie overhand knots on this side. Just go ahead and pull out just a little bit more slack, because we saw that knot was sitting right about there. Just keep track of where that guy's at. And that's where we want to put our knot. Like that. Do the same on the other side. So, I'm going to make sure not to lie to you guys, but getting this double V, this double mustache, is a little bit tricky to get it perfectly right when it's all said and done. But once you do, just go ahead and trim off the ends and melt them down. I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. And there we have it. Check it out. One sling made out of one continuous 17-foot length of paracord, not counting the cross pieces here. But there you have it, guys. That is this tutorial. Now, as I mentioned, all of my videos that I do tutorials for the slings are up for grabs. So if you comment #sling down below, you are entered for an opportunity to win this sling. For the previous tutorial video that I did with the woven webbing pouch, Golden Cobra Tattoo. You didn't comment the hashtag on there, but you did say sling, so I'm counting you in there. Dan, you got that sling. I've got to figure out the logistics of how to get that to Australia in an economical way, but you got a sling coming your way. Thanks so much for watching that video, man. I appreciate it. And thanks, everybody, for the comments. All these ideas you guys are throwing out there and questions are helping come up with new ideas and kind of pushing ideas of how you can make a sling. This is one example of that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, maybe you consider liking and subscribing. Check back. I'm going to always be making more of these guys. But hope to see you guys in the next video. Keep on slinging, guys.